government shutdown enters its 6th day. A Harvard professor is in hot water for threatening behavior outside a Massachusetts synagogue. And a court blocks President Trump from sending National Guard troops to support ICE operations. I'm Georgia Howe. John's out this week. It's Monday, October 6th, and this is Evening Wire. The government shutdown continued into its 6th day of a total stalemate today. The Senate convened this afternoon, but is not expected to pass a reopening measure. Talks remain centered on the issue of Obama-era health care subsidies, which Democrats would like to extend, but Republicans would like to debate once the government is reopened. A Harvard professor faces consequences after an incident near a synagogue in Massachusetts. Daily Wire senior editor Joel Needler has the story.
A visiting Harvard law professor has been placed on administrative leave after allegedly firing a pellet rifle near a Boston-area synagogue on the eve of Yom Kippur. Carlos Portugal Gouveia, 43, claimed he was, quote, hunting rats when he popped off 2 shots outside Temple Beth Zion in Brookline last week. Cops say the act shattered a car window and triggered a massive police response just as congregants were gathering for the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Security guards confronted Gouveia, sparking a brief scuffle before he bolted into his nearby home. He was later cuffed and charged with illegal discharge, disorderly conduct, and vandalism. Authorities said they do not believe the synagogue was targeted, but noted that the incident caused alarm during a sensitive time for the Jewish community. Gouveia, a Brazilian legal scholar known for his advocacy on gun control and social justice, pleaded not guilty and was released on personal recognizance. Harvard Law has placed him on leave and is reviewing the matter. Gouveia was teaching Harvard classes on sustainable capitalism and corruption and inequality this semester. He's due back in court in November.
The White House has announced an investigation into the early release of a man convicted in a brutal Kentucky home invasion that left a 6-year-old boy dead. Ronald Sanchez, who stabbed multiple members of the Tipton family with a kitchen knife, was convicted in 2018, but later found not guilty by reason of insanity. He had been sentenced to 20 years in prison, but was released in early October, 13 years early, and placed on just 8 months of supervised probation. Dean Tipton, the father of the child, expressed outrage at the release.
I've had my talks with God because I'm not afraid to tell you all. I told the court, if I ever cross paths with him, I will kill the man. I will kill him where he stands.
The decision has left the Tipton family in shock and sparked national outrage. A recent Gallup poll shows Americans' confidence in the justice system is at record lows, with many citing lenient sentencing and early parole as a major cause of public distrust. The White House says it will review the circumstances surrounding Xanthus's release and the agencies involved in the decision. New York City mayoral frontrunner Zoran Mamdani is facing backlash after a recent photo shows him smiling next to a Ugandan official who has pushed for gay people to be thrown in prison. Daily Wire reporter Tim Pierce has the details.
The image, which was taken in July and published by the New York Post on Sunday, shows Mamdani standing next to Rebecca Kadaga, the first deputy prime minister of Uganda. Kadaga has lobbied for harsh laws against homosexuality, including life imprisonment for gay people. Mamdani's campaign, which scrambled to address the photo, claimed the socialist candidate was unaware of Kadaga's efforts to criminalize homosexuality. The campaign said that Mamdani, quote, ran into the first deputy minister while they were at the airport in Entebbe, Uganda. Mamdani, who was born in Uganda, recently went back to the country where he celebrated his wedding.
A man with an apparent Molotov cocktail was arrested outside of a D.C. cathedral yesterday as the church prepared to host Supreme Court justices for a special Red Mass. Police encountered 41-year-old Louis Gary as he pitched a tent outside of the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle, despite being previously barred from the property. Gary was arrested on charges of unlawful entry, threats to kidnap or injure a person, and possession of a Molotov cocktail. The Red Mass is an annual tradition to pray for government officials the day before the Supreme Court session, which began today. Due to security concerns, the Mass was delayed and the court justices did not attend. We have an update on a developing story out of New York where federal agents have busted a large-scale cyber warfare operation possibly linked to China. Daily Wire investigative reporter Luke Rosiak has more on the story.
The Secret Service, who reported last week their bust of an illicit server farm and seizure of over 100,000 SIM cards, is now reporting the discovery of additional locations and an additional 200,000 fraudulent SIMs. Officials report that the operation was capable of sending over 30 million text messages or phone calls per minute, meant for DDoS attacks capable of jamming cell phone towers and crippling emergency response services. The story is still developing, but authorities say the operation has been linked to Chinese actors. No arrests have yet been made at the time of recording.
A federal workers union suing the Trump administration over auto-reply emails. Amid the ongoing government shutdown, a federal workers union has filed a lawsuit against the Department of Education, alleging that the agency inserted partisan language into employees' automated out-of-office email replies. According to the American Federation of Government Employees, furloughed workers discovered that a standardized message had been added to their government email accounts, blaming Senate Democrats for the shutdown. The union argues that the message violates the Hatch Act, which restricts certain political activity by federal employees. A Trump administration spokesperson defended the language, calling it a factual description rather than a partisan statement. Japan could soon have its own Iron Lady. Ultra-conservative Sanae Takaichi, a devoted admirer of Margaret Thatcher, just won the top spot in her party's internal vote on October 4th. In Japan, the prime minister isn't directly elected by voters. Instead, the leader of the winning political party gets the job when parliament votes them in. Takaichi's Liberal Democratic Party has controlled Japan's government for the last 70 years, so she's pretty much guaranteed to become the country's first female prime minister. Takaichi's campaign focused on being tough on China, better protections for Japan's economy, and supporting old-school values like family and tradition. Ex-NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez is now behind bars after an alleged parking dispute turned into a bloody brawl. Here with the details is Daily Wire reporter Amanda Prestigiacomo.
After initial reports indicated that Sanchez could be the victim of a random stabbing, new reporting reveals that Sanchez allegedly punched a 69-year-old truck driver in downtown Indianapolis early Saturday outside of a bar, which led to this bloody escalation. Witnesses say Sanchez's behavior was erratic and that he seemed intoxicated prior to the incident. In self-defense, the victim stabbed Sanchez, who suffered critical injuries and was hospitalized before being arrested on battery charges. The truck driver was hospitalized with severe facial wounds, but is now stable, according to a statement from his family. Sanchez was a star for the Jets and Eagles and now works as a Fox TV analyst. An investigation into the altercation is ongoing.
In a late-night judicial blow, U.S. District Court Judge Karen Immergut blocked the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon. The updated restraining order extends the block through October 19th and broadens the initial ban, which had specifically halted the deployment of Oregon's own National Guard units. And the season premiere of Saturday Night Live reamed JK Rowling for her public views on transgenderism. In a weekend update segment, actor Bowen Yang dressed as Dobby the house elf from the Harry Potter series and quipped the following.
Why would Dobby be scared, sir? Dobby's just about to publicly weigh in on trans people, that's all. Master sent Dobby to go on the telly and define once and for all what a woman is, sir.
The skit later clarified that Dobby's master was, in fact, JK Rowling. This comes after Rowling and Hermione actress Emma Watson traded comments online about the transgender issue, on which Rowling has continued to stand her ground. Those are your drive home updates this evening. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it this morning, we covered some major stories, including Israel and Hamas agreeing to President Trump's peace proposal for Gaza, Mexican drug cartels putting bounties on ICE agents, and the transgender man who attempted to kill Justice Kavanaugh getting a sweetheart deal from a Biden-appointed judge. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another full edition of Morning Wire.